Okay, ladies and gentlemen, gosh, it's after midnight again. Here we are at uh, Cockrane, Ontario, and no, I lied. We're at Kapuskasing. Try again. Yeah, I just landed at Cockrane a few minutes ago. I pre-fly the flight and then do a YouTube recording off of my recording, and I got some history about Kapuskasing, lots of memories after I take off. We'll take off, and this is a diamond, not a tail dragger. It flies faster than the tail draggers I've been flying lately. A Pilatus could get up close to the speed of this diamond, but the mall and the Cubs, they fly a little slower. So we're going to take off and head east towards Cochrane. It's about, I don't know, it's about 85 miles or whatever from Kapuskasing to Cochrane, whatever. And about 15-20 miles just outside of Kapuskasing, there'll be a sign in the sky there for a place called Moon River, Moonbeam. And to the north of there is a lake, a big lake near Kapuskasing called REMIE Lake. And I'll tell some stories about that from my childhood, okay? And that's about it. Okay, so let's start the recording, the other recording. Resume replay. Still don't have the rudders down the way I want, but a little bit low speeds, a little bit squirrely, but boy, in the air with this plane, my yoke, or my stick actually, and my rudders, a lot stiffer, a lot more feel to them than in some of the other airplanes. Particularly in the rudders, if I'm a little bit uncoordinated, makes it push my leg. So we were headed west. We took off west there. Now we're heading north a little bit. We're going to swing back east, southeast. You can see REMIE Lake off in the distance. And when I came down following Highway 11 towards Cochrane, it's following the vector of my big a big nav map. But I saw a notification for Moonbeam. I clicked the view left and saw REMIE Lake out there. So back in 1958, good ways after the Second World War, my dad left the RCAF after the war came to an end, went back into construction. grandfather been in construction business, and my dad was on an inspection of the Trans-Canada pipeline, which was being put in 1958. Very, very big thing for Canada in those days. And prior to that, my dad worked on the St. Lawrence Seaway, another big thing for Canada. So, about this, looks like Canada's going to get back into some more large infrastructure projects, which is very, very important. We need to become more self-sufficient and value added to our stuff, not just let other people take our resources at a discount and whatnot. So it's time that Canada is going to take a step of maturity. So, and just the side of my grandfather, who was in construction and served in the First World War, he built a lot of train trusses and stuff and lumbering across northern Ontario. Before and after, he went out and pioneered, homesteaded in British Columbia, where he made a mineral discoveries and got a grub stake to come back and expand his business back in New Liskeard, cobalt, Liskeard back there. Anyway, that's another story. I think I've told some of it before, but when I get closer down here, I'll steal stuff from my sister's book. So I gave her some information. So yeah, my grandfather brought the first gas-powered shovel, we used to call it, into Ontario, working on the Welland Canal. He brought it in from Medina, Missouri, and a Missourian guy named Bill Witt came up to train the guys on it and run it. And so my dad was just very, very young at that time, and he had a steam ticket for a steam show. So he was not only a crane operator in years after the war, but before and after the war, but he also a stationary engineer. He got it grandfathered, he had that. And so that's a little back to the story of my grandfather and his brothers, who were quite the entrepreneurs. So we're going to turn left up here in a minute or so to REMIE Lake. So in 1958, my dad came down to Toronto, picked up my mother and my younger sister, myself, and drove from Toronto to Kapuskasing. I think it took us like 15 hours. And after North Bay, a good ways, maybe after New Liskeard, whatever, the road became gravel. And I remember he had to change tires a few times. They didn't make tires as well in those days. And the road was being constructed, and the pipeline over Muskeg area. So sometimes equipment would sink in the Muskeg, and they just let it sink to China. Anyway, so I spent the summer in Kapuskasing in the bathing suit all summer, and a World War II Navy guy at 13 taught me to water ski. So I learned to water ski in REMIE Lake near Kapuskasing, and we're crossing over Moonbeam right now. And my dad used to, well, we stayed at REMIE Lake, right? Not at Kapuskasing. We stayed at REMIE Lake, in a trailer at REMIE Lake. And Moonbeam, the Potvins, I think it was, had fabulous beef. You'll notice the terrain up here, up this part of it's heading, everything flows from here to the James Bay, the water, and the terrain up here it's flatter up here than some of the prairies. It's very flat, and they have great beef. Great beef. And I mentioned we just came out of Kapuskasing, and before that came out of Hearst, where our dog, our 8-year-old poodle, came from. It's just a fabulous dog, and they have a ranch there. They raise a lot of horses. Angoli's Ranch. Fabulous breeder. So here we are. Now we're kind of heading, oh yeah, my gauges are working. Okay. We're kind of east, northeast, more east. Take a couple minutes to fly around Remie Lake, and my stick came loose in my hands, so I was flying there like a little bit loose. My red-green show stick here has got to get screws and stuff tightened up. Maybe some crazy glue. Much like my friend Bill Reed, when he ferried my first plane before I had license to fly it, flew it from south of Ottawa up to the airport, the west side of Ottawa, Carp. And as he was coming to land, the stick pulled out of the socket and the base, and he had to hold it with two hands. Like, oh, mercy. I better send that to Bill. God bless Bill he didn't crash. Thank goodness. Saved my plane. Saved him. To get around this loop here, kind of looks like some of the circuits I do. My avocado circuits or pear circuits. Then maybe we'll scoot the recording ahead, overcome the boredom. Because I've already flown this. Oh, the fishing in that lake there. Oh, mercy. Back, too expensive to make phone calls, so Dad would send letters. And he would say, oh, I went out and I cast off the point, the rocky point in spring, and I got my limit of pickerel within a few minutes. Bang, bang, bang. And he said, that was until what some people call fish flies come in the spring, or shad flies, wherever you are. After that, he couldn't catch any pickerel. I see a Lufthansa airliner flying over me at 38,000 feet on my nav map, heading to Germany, I guess. Imagine that. Where did he come from? So we're going to turn back towards Kapuskasing for a few seconds. So there's Kapuskasing, 11 miles ahead of us to the west. I set the clouds to high, not clear, which is a little bit of, look at the sun. I think we're something like 10 in the morning. It's kind of, glad I'm not flying to that. I remember taking off from Elliott Lake 7 something in the morning before sunset, before the sun was just coming up. I was videotaping it. In order to, because I was in a flight contest, Woofy, World Ultralight flying, something like that. People were flying all over the world on that date, October the 10th, I think it was, the year, and I haven't done that for a few years. And I had to have a video timestamp to get a certificate, which is out on the wall. So people were taking off all day. Australia, Europe, United States, wherever, Africa. All there's a few thousands of us, all on the same day. Oh, and the point of that was because it was hard on my video with the light coming at me from the east, and very difficult. I remember driving vehicles on the highway early in the morning in the winter time into the sun. If there's a little bit of wet road or icy road, and you'd need two sets of sunglasses, but you know what? Put two sets of sunglasses on, you wouldn't see pedestrians on the street. It wouldn't help a lot. You need Arctic snow glasses. Anybody know about Arctic snow glasses? Because the Arctic's just to our port wing, our left wing there, not the beginning of the Arctic, St. James Bay. And I think when I get to Cockrane, well, I've already got to Cockrane tonight, but I might do the next flight to Moosonee, or come back and do it to Moosonee. I think I said in the last flight that from Cockrane to James Bay, there's a world famous Polar Bear Express train. It goes over the Mustang. Why am I turning like that? Oh, that's because I'm heading back towards the vector. Oh, there's Moonbeam on the right starboard wing, and the highway. Follow that. The train has to go very slow to Moosonee because the roadbed is soft. Remember I told you about muskeg, permafrost? About where I live in Elliott Lake, just north of Lake Huron, you get about 15-20 miles north, and you lose your deciduous trees. You get into evergreens, and they get shorter and shorter the further north you go. Okay, as soon as we make the turn, straighten out to Cockrane, I'm going to speed the recorder up. There's a place up here, kind of famous, called Smooth Rock Falls. No airport there, I don't think. One of the reasons I'm doing this flight, as I was like Sault Ste. Marie, Wawa, Chapleau, Hearst, Kapuskasing, Cockrane. We'll go on to Timmins and back. Maybe I've already done Mattawa before. And back home. There's a ring of fire in the north, and it's a mineral ring of fire which Ontario is developing, because we have a lot of necessary critical minerals for the world. The world needs, and the church I attend has a group of churches all through the north here, maybe half a dozen groups, and they had a conference and they called it the Ring of Fire. But for maybe 15 years or so, I've been a go-for guy for a radio station repeater. We have a network, KFM, out of Sudbury, but we have 14 stations. Well, there's stations in Sudbury, North Bay, Timmins, Sault Ste. Marie, but We have repeaters. We're a repeater in Elliott Lake, and sometimes in the past, would have to go to the station and reset stuff. Not climb the tower, thank you very much. Fly an airplane, we don't climb the tower. I used to climb crane booms when I was a rookie crane operator, and the CN Tower, I went up the CN Tower, and my wife and kid were like dancing on the glass thing that looked down 1,200 feet, but not me. I don't even like fire towers. But I like planes. If you fall left, it goes with you. You fall right, it goes with you, right? So I love planes. So that's enough time for a commercial. So let's move this plane ahead faster. What will we do here? We have to pause. Now, 24 nautical miles, 20 nautical miles. Okay, resume replay. There we go. So we
Center Diamond Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra is type Diamond DA 42 1 miles west of Charlie Yankee Charlie November 3,100 feet. Request flight following.
Diamond Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra Toronto Center. Squawk 6715.
Squawk 6715 Diamond X-Ray Golf Sierra.
Diamond X-Ray Golf Sierra radar contact 20 miles west of Charlie Yankee Charlie November 2,900 feet. Altimeter 29.902.
Roger, Diamond X-Ray Golf Sierra.
Alpha Sierra X-ray. I looked up. It's a small entity in Europe. Forget the name. That's not Moldova. I don't think so. But anyway, I looked it up on AI earlier. So where's my cell phone here? I looked that up again. I don't have to fly, hands up. This is what you call autopilot. Whoops. We made a mistake. That's John F. Kennedy Airport. I don't want airport code. Sorry, Dave. I guess that's a virtual code. I thought I had something before that was more specific, but it's no country that goes Alpha Sierra X-ray. So now we're approaching. The nav map says we're 12. Well, Google's or Microsoft says I'm 11 miles out. So the big Rosetta wheel is moving ahead. Getting cool in this sim shack here, eh? Guns Hut. Getting cool. Have to take a picture gun there with my camera and then post it. Maybe I could do that now. You notice I'm not eating chips tonight. You can't hear me crunching chips because I don't want mice in the hut. Okay, gun. Show them your stuff. Gun sitting on top of my nav monitor. And behind it's a picture of a Canso, an American PBY. My dad was crew on Canso, World War II, on submarine flight patrols. Before they hauled him out to go, because of his engine experience and stuff, to be an inspector on mosquitoes. They built mosquitoes at Downsview in Toronto, so he moved from the West Coast to Downsview. Didn't go over, so he saved his life probably. My political science professor in university, it was in the Diefenbaker government. He flew mosquitoes in World War II. He made it back. He wanted me to go into politics, but I couldn't remember how to spell my name, so. I nearly flunked grade 3, so you can see, thank God I've come a long way. This Beechcraft Baron panel is going crazy on manifold pressure because it doesn't like the diamond stuff. So many gauges down here, my goodness, you have to go to summer school. Manifold pressure, 2 manifold pressures, 2 RPM gauges, both of them not working. Oh, I know one of them's working. Oh, hey, 2,000. How's that? Oh, yeah, because the plane yesterday was a Pilatus with a turboprop. So this has got an ice engine. Bang, bang. Fuel flow. Are we there yet? That's what the kids used to always say. Are we there yet? How much further? Oh, another couple of days. I gotta go pee. Can't stop here. Why not? Because we're 1,800 feet, 1,900 feet in the sky. I gotta go now. Just like my friend Thomas Benyon. I gotta land down there, Dave. I gotta land. I don't care because I can't go any further. So he found a field. Hey, Thomas. Yeah, hey. I miss Thomas. Cockrane. They have a polar bear museum, not museum, not stuffed polar bears, real polar bears, 12-foot high fences, big buildings with air conditioning for the summertime when it's 30 plus, 90 if you're Fahrenheit, 90 something, and they have a snowmobile museum in Cockrane too, which is incredible. They got snowmobile from Back to the Future and there with 4 engines on it. Let's not talk about snowmobiles. Look, see, it's green grass. "13 and 31. We're coming around to land on 31. Hope they didn't move the airport. Long downwind. I was flying a simulator like the GPS came on and said, too slow, you're going to crash, you're going to stall. Bass, we're on bass. Mama sang bass, Daddy sang tenor. Hope the airport's where we're supposed to be. Oh, right there. There it is. "1,300 feet, 80 knots. They said it stalls after 85, but we got flaps down and we got the nose down. 1,200 feet. We're holding our airspeed. 1,100 feet. Well, I don't know what the elevation is here. Does it say here? Give me an elevation. 960 feet.
Charlie Yankee Charlie November traffic Diamond Alpha Sierra X-ray Golf Sierra 1 mile southeast 900 feet inbound to land runway 31.
What a crappy landing. Well, I was doing that when I was in the cab. No excuses. My goodness, cowboy. Oh, bird, I hit the lights again. I took 2 lights out this time. It's going to cost me $5,000 for the lights. Goodness gracious. Fix that rudder, Dave. Fix the pilot. Fix the rudder. Back to North Bay, 10,000 feet and practice landing again. But all these different planes. No excuses, Dave. Put the brakes on. Come on, put the brakes on. Brakes on. Brakes on. Give me a break. Okay. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you have a good week. We're already into Friday.